The Budapest Olympic qualifier event was probably my best competition so far in terms of how I performed. It started off a bit rocky with boulder qualification. My ranking going into the OQS, I was ranked really lowly, so I came out really late, and it was very hot in Budapest and I didn't manage the heat very well at all. I didn't manage it at all. So I was slipping all over the holds. I was a bit stressed, so I wasn't changing my shoes when they were hot. I think my confidence could have been better on the routes. After boulder qualifications, I sort of had a small mental breakdown. I think my confidence in lead wasn't good enough because in the Shanghai Olympic qualifier event I qualified high in boulder, so that I basically had no pressure in lead qualification. In Budapest I qualified for bouldering in 16th, so the pressure was sort of on in lead, and I wasn't overly confident. I sort of felt like after finishing bouldering that the dream was sort of over, which sounds dramatic, and probably was a bit dramatic, but I didn't have faith that I could have a good lead climb when I needed it. Lead qualification morning, I felt a lot better. I read the route really well. I memorised, and I was confident going onto the route. Sort of got onto the head wall. It's probably the most relieved I've ever been in a competition. When I got that big slap up to the sloper with my right hand and stuck that and got my right foot wide out to the right, I was so relieved and so happy because I sort of knew that I'd done well enough to make semi-finals and put myself in a good position to get an Olympic ticket. And yeah, I got joint second on the lead route, so I managed to bump my position up to 8th from 16th in the boulder round, which was amazing for my confidence in lead that I could perform when I needed to. I think the shift overnight from boulder to lead qualies was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do in competition climbing, which is weird because it's not to do with climbing at all, but I'm still happy that it happened that way because I learned a lot from it, and I felt horrible afterwards for hours, just felt awful, but I'm happy that it happened like that now. I felt less pressure going into semi-finals. I knew that I still hadn't secured an Olympic ticket, but it was like a fresh slate. I managed my temperature a lot better, my skin a lot better. I was out slightly earlier, so it was a bit cooler. Boulder semi-finals was very fun for me, I feel. I don't even remember the first one. Oh yeah, the first one. The rest of it was fun. And I made mistakes, but I thought I executed well and I kept my cool. And then I was excited for lead semis. Lead semis also went pretty well, and I put myself into finals in 5th place, which essentially meant that I'd got an Olympic ticket, basically officially, which felt pretty great. So I felt really happy that I'd done that, but also I really wanted to put in a good finals performance. I thought I was prepping well for it, and then I probably got about 3 hours sleep. I slept so badly. I was just up, trying to go to sleep for maybe 5 hours. I still cared about my result in finals, but my main focus was on enjoying it because it's essentially the most stress-free round I'll ever do. Boulder 1 was really fun. I got that on my second attempt, and it was just a really fun boulder to start off the round with. Boulder 2 was a main talking point after the comp. I feel like the competition picked up on niche things that were weaknesses, but this was not niche at all, and it was quite major. Semis 1 as well was similar, and I didn't feel confident on it at all, so I addressed that almost immediately after the competition. Boulder 3 was a bit of a heartbreaker for me. I fumbled the top and definitely a bit disheartened going into the call zone after that one. But I was excited for Boulder 4. I thought it looked really cool. My first attempt was a bit embarrassing. I completely missed the toe hook. Really enjoyed the big move over and I flashed that. And then the top move was a little bit harder for me. I'm not really sure what this was, but I'm proud of composing myself and topping it, and I'm most proud of my roly-poly when I fell off from the top. Feel my performance could have been better on the finals route. I think I read the moves well, but I think my route reading for the clips can be a lot better. Ending the comp with an Olympic ticket and another third place was sort of more than I could ask for. My goal coming into the comp was I wanted to make finals again so that I could have 2 top 8s and go to the Olympics feeling confident, but 2 top 3s I wasn't expecting at all. Yeah. Session at Depot Birmingham when I got back was probably like the deciding factor that I needed some more rest before I got back into it. It wouldn't have been beneficial for me to get straight back into training when I was feeling like this, but it was still fun to be moving on the wall again. Felt weird to have qualified for the Olympics and then like 2 days later just be training at Depot Birmingham again. It was a bit weird, but it was nice. On the Beastmaker during the comp, I was an absolute legend on it.
Huh? During the comp?
Yeah, there was a Beastmaker and I was just like, I don't know whether it was extra grippy, but I just felt absolutely cracked on it. Oh my god. Oh my god. What the hell? So, for my first session back in the UK after Budapest, I didn't really have a plan for it. I just wanted to get moving again and go climbing. We're sort of going to do max efforts, but well, I guess I sort of did do max efforts, and my max that day was yellows, which is like V7s. My body was like pretty tired, like I've said. My skin was bad, and I think that the adrenaline was wearing off from the competition, so I had like my peak of adrenaline, and then I felt so mentally exhausted afterwards that I just needed some rest before I got back into it. So it was just a fun session, not really focusing on anything, just doing what I felt like doing, which I don't do that much, hardly ever. Well, I'd never like go climbing and just go climbing. There'd always be training involved, so I just let myself go climbing, and it was a pretty short session, pretty relaxed. Basically going through the comp, there were, like I said, some small things that we noticed that I wasn't overly amazing at, some small things that needed to be improved, and also some major weaknesses, in my eyes anyway. I had some major weaknesses that I wanted to work on. I think that my slabs still have a long way to go, especially certain slabs, so focusing on those. I think my root reading can still be a lot better, so focusing on that as well. And mainly my compression is not very good, basically. A mixture of things. I think some muscle groups are a little bit weak, but basically any movement like this, whether it's narrow or wide or in the middle, is not strong. When I walked out to semis boulder 1, I wasn't really confident. I'm not very good at those sorts of climbs, I don't feel. Finals 2 as well, I wasn't necessarily that confident. I think also open hand, not that confident at either. So that's the main focus point for the Olympics. I really hope the route setters aren't watching this. They're like, right, open hand, compression. Oh God. Which one?
The left palm.
God, that's going to make the next move horrible. Okay. If you missed out the pinch on the left and went match, then into this block trim thing.
So a good session.
I think going into the Olympics, I'm just excited. I've learnt that a lot of my excitement for climbing, especially competition climbing, comes from confidence, and a lot of my confidence comes from training. That's why I made the decision to sort of prioritise training over competitions between Budapest ending and the Olympics beginning, so that I'm going into the Olympics feeling really confident that I've made gains and that I'm the strongest that I've ever been. I don't really have any result goals necessarily. I'd love to make finals, but I'm trying to just focus on the performance, and I think the result is much more likely to come from focusing on the performance rather than like trying to centre around a result that I want. And obviously it's the Olympics. It's going to be bigger than anything I've ever done. So I just want to enjoy the whole experience of it, every aspect that comes with it. I'm sure it'll be very overwhelming. I'm not a very extroverted person. Don't know if you guessed. I appreciate all of the support coming into this big competition. People are believing in me, which is a feeling that I no longer feel pressure by. Sort of just brings me excitement. I believe in myself now, so any belief from other people is just sort of reinforces that. I hope you'll carry on supporting me into the Olympics and I'll do my best. I appreciate you watching. Have a good day. Goodbye.